Eyemaginations believes that better educated patients make better decisions. Today, on Next Generation Leaders, we're going to talk to Smitha Gopal. She's the CEO of Eyemaginations. We're going to learn about her leadership approach, what they do from an innovation and cultural standpoint at Eyemaginations, and just how to help those patients make better decisions. Smitha, thanks for coming in and talking to us about your company and Next Generation Leaders, the concepts of leadership and innovation and culture. Can you tell us a little bit about Eyemaginations? What do you guys do? Who do you serve? What are you in business for?
Sure. So Eyemaginations was founded about 15 years ago by an optometrist, and he struggled with communicating with his patients. So his default was he had a little plastic eye model, and he would be interacting with the patient. He would pick up the model, and he would try and explain what was happening in the eye and take apart the pieces, sort of like Russian nesting dolls. And one day he was doing this, and he was trying to juggle all the pieces, and it just dropped. Okay. Everything shattered on the floor, and he thought to himself, there has to be a better way than this. So lucky for him, he had 3 college-age sons. One was kind of a natural-born salesperson, one was very creative, and one was very technical. So together with his 3 sons, they sort of had, the inspiration and then the innate ability to be able to start a software company to address this problem of doctor-patient communication.
Okay.
So that was the kind of the origin of the company. But we've really evolved over the past 15 years, and what we have found is that it's about that doctor-patient experience in the exam room, but perhaps even more important, it's about the patient experience outside the exam room. So people think about their health every day. Mm-hmm. It's making good decisions like drinking water, it's staying compliant with your regimen, it is returning to your doctor for the needed tests and procedures, on a certain schedule.
Right.
And if you don't totally understand the importance of all of those things, or you're not totally clear on the details, it's very easy to become anxious, to procrastinate, to just not move forward.
So decisions either aren't made or poor decisions are made.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's a very expensive problem. It costs our country or our economy over $200 billion a year.
Wow.
This cost of sort of missed action, non-compliance, and then unnecessary care, because if you don't take care of things, they tend to escalate and become more problematic, more expensive. So that's really why we're in business, and that's the fundamental problem that we're trying to address.
Smitha, you did not start this company, but you find yourself now in the role of CEO. Can you tell me a little bit about the evolution of you as a leader and sort of now how you find yourself at this top spot?
Sure. I was very lucky in that I have been with the company for many years. So I started as a business analyst, and I progressed through different departments, and so I got a chance to see a lot of the inner workings and kind of what was going well, what was less successful, and I think that has really helped me. I had a lot of institutional knowledge, so that by the time I became the CEO, nothing was uncharted territory. I think that as an outsider in a family business, there's always the potential for things to be, awkward, or there's a new dynamic that you have to learn, and so I was really grateful for the prior experience. I really understood kind of the personalities and the skeletons in the closet and all of the past history.
Well, so then, this kind of leads us into the question of, how you view yourself as a leader, the kind of the role you play. If somebody just asked you to sort of describe you as a CEO, you as a leader of the company, what attributes would you use? And then what do you think are the sort of the most important attributes around being an effective leader?
I think that as a CEO, I don't feel like I have a lot of people working for me. Okay. I feel like I'm working for a lot of people. And so my job is to make everyone else better at their job and help them on their kind of career, trajectory. Because I think that there's this multiplier effect. I can do so much, and I have good ideas, and I'm a pretty effective person. So I can be, effective, but I have 24 hours in the day. Mm-hmm. I have 30 people that I work with. So if I can make them more effective each day, it's so much better for our customers and our product and our growth as a company. So I spend a lot of my time really thinking about how to grow talent, skill sets, how to groom people, how to get them past the things that they're afraid of or the things that they're not so good at yet. And I don't think of them as my employees. I think of myself as having this obligation to them, to be their coach.
You're serving them or coaching them.
Yeah.
Okay. And it probably, I would imagine that given that you've sort of been ahead of the software team, ahead of the production team, maybe sales or different parts of marketing, then you can sort of lend, whether there's expertise or a shoulder to cry on or somebody to coach them through and motivate them and get them excited about what they're up against.
Yeah, I think that there is some additional credibility that comes from having done the job versus just sort of coming in at a top level and not being able to relate to the difficulties that a position entails.
So as you think of yourself as sort of being this coach or being this servant person, what do you look for in the people that you bring on? I know you've made some recent hires you're excited about. What do you look for the people that work for you now and they're going to take on more responsibility? What are the attributes that you sort of get so excited about when you see an employee that said, that's a leadership skill we really need to have here?
Yeah. So certainly there is a certain level of aptitude, just competence, skill set. We really look for people that don't have a lot of ego, team players, people that believe in the greater good over their own sort of personal ascension, and people that are really just hard workers and culture fit.
Got it. So kind of two angles to the next question. One is around innovation and one is around sort of connecting to that team player and the greater good, right? So is there a role that people play to be innovators in the company and maybe contributing to the greater good? How does that fit in Eyemaginations' culture and organization?
Yeah. So it's one thing to say that your culture promotes innovation or that everyone has a voice, and then I think it's another thing to really have that be part of the reality. So one of the things that we implemented about 18 months ago, and it's one of my favorite things about our company, and I tell everyone about it. So we use this project management software called Trello, and it's actually free. And so we use it to manage almost every facet of our business. So every department has at least one board, and it provides total transparency and visibility into projects. Who's doing what kind of progress are they making? If they need help, they can @mention someone. So it's very efficient and it's great for transparency. But one particular way that we use Trello to drive innovation is we have a weekly wish list meeting. So we have this board, it's called the wish list, and anyone can add a card to it. And so that's an idea. And it can be an idea that's related to the product. It can be related to how we sell to customers, our marketing, our website. Sometimes the ideas are, this is the kind of beer I think we should put in the keg next. Really runs the gamut.
Right.
And then we have this weekly meeting. So everyone in the company comes to the meeting. You can talk about up to 2 cards, and you just defend your idea. I think that we should do this because this is the problem that I've seen, or I talked to a customer and they expressed support for this. And people can vote, they can comment, and then the cards get moved to different boards. So we'll say, that's a really great idea, and move it to the marketing board or the sales board or the product development board or wherever. And not every idea gets moved, which doesn't mean that it's a bad idea.
Right.
Maybe it's just not the right time. But I think that giving people that very specific channel and tool to contribute their thoughts has really gone a long way in terms of opening up the breadth of people that are contributing those ideas.
That's exciting. In fact, it fits into the next discussion around the culture of the organization. It sounds, and you've used words already, they're sort of culture-based words like transparent and collaborative and grooming folks. How would you describe the culture of Eyemagination? And is that important for a software company, a market-leading company, a company that's trying something new in an industry? Why does culture fit in here anywhere?
Yeah, I think culture is important for any company. It's especially important for our company, maybe in part because we're not a startup. We've been around for 15 years. Yeah. So it's important to kind of foster innovation. It's not like we've just been at this for 6 months and everyone is kind of fresh and hungry. But yeah, culture is tremendously important. We have a saying that I think is kind of the basis of everything else that we do. It's from an Oscar Wilde quote. So a true friend will always stab you in the front.
Gotcha.
So we have shortened it to just stab in the front. And what it means is if you have an issue with something or someone, speak up.
Face to face.
Face to face. Address it with them. It's so easy to be afraid of confrontation, and then you go to your manager, you go to that person's manager, or you just you don't say anything and it festers, and then it becomes a problem. Whereas if you just address it proactively with a person and you have the protection of, we stab in the front here.
Right, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's much easier to have that that quick conversation, resolve the issue, and then move on.
I can see a T-shirt here somewhere. In the
Stab in
making.
the front.
We've hit innovation, we've hit culture, and you've been around. You've been a successful company. You continued to grow. You have a software platform that's adapted for a number of different customers. What role do these leaders that you sort of are grooming all the time? What role do they play in sort of the growth of the company? Not just on innovation, but building a stronger, bigger, faster business. What role do these next generation leaders play in growth?
I mean, I don't think that they're playing a role. I think that they're the drivers of it.
They are the role.
Yeah, they are the role.
How are you organized around? Is there a sales role? Is there a business development role? Is there a sort of an online marketing presence? Do you rely on these folks that you're grooming to, make sure that they're driving revenue and make sure that the bottom line's increasing?
Yeah, so there is a sales role, which is primarily responsible for bringing in new business. And then customers sort of get onboarded through our customer success and onboarding team. And then there's a retention role. So as a software company, we've moved to a model where we're charging a monthly subscription fee.
SaaS model of some sort, yeah.
Yep, exactly, a classic SaaS model. So it's really important that we drive ongoing value for the customer. So we have different groups of people that are aligned to ensuring that that's happening kind of every stage of the way.
Yeah, so all along the chain, somebody knows that if they lose a customer here, 24 months from now, there'll be a whole revenue stream that didn't happen.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
And so each department has metrics that they're tracking towards.
Okay.
And, so for sales, it's easy. It's number of customers. It's dollars. For the onboarding and training team, they are looking at as a whole for the customers that we brought on this month. How are they doing? How many of them have taken advantage of certain features? How are they kind of scoring and trending? Are they starting to use the software more and more? Are people flatlining? And then for our retention team, it's sort of monetary. Are they choosing to renew? Did they find enough value in the service that they want to continue?
That kind of wraps us up. So I want to thank you for sharing a little bit about what the company does, your background, some of the cool things you do around communications, collaboration, transparency in the company, creating the kind of culture that I think people probably want to come to work for a place like Eyemaginations. So thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you so much.
And look forward to catching up to you soon.
Likewise.
The employees at Eyemagination don't work for Smitha Gopal. Smitha says she works for them. She's there to break down any roadblocks, get things out of the way so they can be most effective at what they do. And this ties in perfectly with the vision of the company, finding ways to better educate patients so they can make better decisions.